been in their custody less than 24 hours earlier. "Morozov's present status isn't your concern," Warner had said, his voice less friendly than usual. "What you need to do is get the hell out of Dodge. It's not safe for you here, and you know it." Aldous had played the same tune, albeit with an English accent disturbingly similar to Greg's own. "I wouldn't worry about Mr. Morozov if I were you," she'd said soothingly. "But, and excuse me for saying this, you'd have a lot less to worry about if you'd simply move. America has many fine cities, I'm sure. Pittsburgh will get on perfectly well without you." "I like it here," Greg had told her, which was true as far as it went. That he was sick of running, that God would either have him tortured and killed or let him live in peace, was too much trouble to explain. Either way, he would end up in hell. Leaving the stairs behind him, Greg turned right, in the direction of his classroom. There was always a slight feeling of relief when he did this. Turning left meant entering the glass-walled maze of the admin suite, at the center of which lay the principal's office. Greg, whose teaching skills had benefited from neither training nor long experience, spent more time there than he would like. It was no coincidence that his classroom was as close to the admin suite as it was. The principal liked to keep an eye on him. The previous principal. As for the new one... "Hey, Greg, wait up!" Out of the corner of his eye, Greg could see a tall, loose-limbed figure coming through the frosted glass door that marked the exit from the admin suite. For a brief moment, Greg thought he was being summoned for yet another telling off. But as the person coming through the door was Demetrius Friedman, Greg put the idea to rest. The chemistry teacher closed the door behind him and strode toward Greg with a broad smile, unusual in itself where Demetrius and the administration were concerned. Demetrius's clashes with the principal's office tended to be more political than Greg's, but Greg doubted Demetrius enjoyed those interactions any more than he did. A smiling Demetrius merited investigation. Greg eased his pace, allowing the taller man to catch up to him. "Good morning, Dr. Friedman. And what can I do for you on this very fine day?" "You can congratulate me as what?" Demetrius said, still beaming as he followed Greg through his classroom door. "Happy to. Why, exactly?" "I just handed in my notice to Principal Eisner. You are looking at the new head of science at the Edgeworth School." "No!" Greg had intended to break into a surprised, happy smile, but felt a frown forming instead. He perched on the edge of his desk, allowing curiosity to get the better of him. "I thought you were persona non grata over there. You know, with Brian Delcade and the little shit's no longer on the board of trustees." Demetrius favored Greg with a glance that was intended to be meaningful. "Criminal indictments can have that effect." "I'm sure they can." Greg refused to be drawn. Brian Delcade, the now former trustee of the Edgeworth School and a Calder Hill parent, had stymied Demetrius's previous application to Edgeworth in a row over grades. The murder of Delcade's wife in the Calder Hill basement and its recent headline-grabbing denouement, for which Greg had striven to take zero credit, had come with obvious consequences. Obvious, that is, once he bothered to think about it. "So the Delcade veto has been removed?" "Exactly right, my man. Exactly right. With that gentleman out of the way, the politics over there look a lot different." Greg nodded. "Yeah, so the last guy has gone to be deputy principal at some big-deal school back in Chicago? I have an in, kind of an in, with the chair of the Edgeworth Board of Trustees, a guy by the name of Alan Mester. We go back a ways. He couldn't stop Delcade doing what he did last time around, but this time, with that asshole well and truly toast, Alan and Principal Ferguson asked me if I'd be interested in giving it a go. They came to me, man." Demetrius's smile returned in full force. "They came to me. Can you believe that?" "I can, actually. You are more than qualified for the job." "Damn right I am." "Yes, but..." "But what?" Greg hesitated, conscious of the need to pick his words.